Praveenji, I'll test your patience a little bit with this slide and maybe the patience of the audience as well. Yeah. So, what does this slide talk about? It talks about judges, lunch, time, and money, right? So, there was a study that was done a few years ago in certain high courts and district courts, which looked at judges and how they give decisions, right? And it was found that just before lunch was the time when they were the most strict with their decisions and the most strict in terms of any discussions that were taking place. Now, what I take away from that is that your time now before lunch is extremely important to you. And in appreciation of that, we would like to save a few $1 million or a few crores for you. And how do we do that? We do that by talking about our innovative precious metal powder catalysts, which will increase profitability for you. So if you have a quick glance at the slide over here, you'll see a few precious metals. Glamorous topic, precious metals. But unfortunately, not so glamorous in the chemical world. It causes a lot of pain if you use precious metals at your end. Take a look at palladium here in the middle. The price of precious metal palladium, the one here in the middle, has gone from under $40,000 per kilogram to as high as $100,000 per kilogram. If you're using just 100 kgs of catalyst containing a standard 5% palladium on carbon, you're going to be investing approximately $200,000 or about 2 crores. The same goes for platinum and the same goes for rhodium at different levels of magnitude. The additional impact that this has is that 1 kg of precious metal, when it is mined, results in about 25 to 35 metric tons of carbon dioxide being emitted into the atmosphere. What BASF wants to do is to help you here because precious metals are extremely expensive and their prices are volatile. To save some money for you and to insulate you from precious metal costs and the volatility that is associated with their pricing, BASF has 3 technologies which we will talk about at a very high level right now. The first technology from BASF helps you to use less metal while getting the same level of performance. The second technology from BASF helps you to sweat your metal, as in use a certain quantity of metal but make it work more. And the third technology from BASF helps you to save more metal. In other words, to lose less metal during your process. In the next 3 slides, I will go into a little bit of detail on each of these. So the first one is using less metal. We won't go too technical, but this is, if you are able to understand it, related to nitro group reduction, specifically as one example. But at a more broader level, in the industry, for these types of reactions, normally people use a 1 to 5% platinum on carbon catalyst. Instead of that, BASF is able to reduce your platinum content by up to 50%. The standard catalyst has safety issues associated with it because there is the buildup of a product called hydroxylamine in the process when the reaction is not controlled. When you use our catalyst, it helps you to control the reaction better and does not help and does not lead to buildup of this dangerous ingredient. What does this translate into in terms of bottom line? It saves you about $200,000 per metric ton of catalyst that you consume. And even more significantly, it helps you to save 2,000 metric tons in terms of carbon dioxide emission per metric ton of catalyst, which would have otherwise taken place. The second case is about sweating your metal. Here we have a technology where we have low metal, high active catalysts. So the catalysts contain a lower quantity of metal, but they are even more active. And how do we do this is by taking the catalyst and by depositing the metal in a certain way so that the metal becomes more available for the reaction and yet gives the same or higher degree of performance compared to a higher metal catalyst. How does this benefit you? The high investment cost that is associated with your standard catalyst is avoided. You also incur a significant recycling cost with your precious metal catalyst, which can also be reduced. So if you look at this little bit of a graph that's here at the end, which I've zoomed now, the standard catalyst in the market is a 5% palladium on carbon catalyst, which gives you when you index it, about 40 units of activity. A 10% palladium on carbon catalyst, the standard catalyst, gives you about 60 units of activity. Our green 5% palladium on carbon catalyst, which is equal to this in terms of metal, gives you twice the amount of activity. What does this translate to? These are commercial examples. All the numbers that you see here, these are not theoretical Excel calculations. For one customer, we saved about $2.6 million for 1 metric ton of catalyst, per metric ton of catalyst, and a significant carbon dioxide emission savings as well. The third case, which is very relatable, regardless of what kind of catalyst you're using, is leaching resistant catalyst, where we try to save more metal for you. In any process, you're going to lose metal because it leaches into your reaction. We have a technology which helps us to bind the metal more strongly to the substrate, in this case carbon, and it helps us to ensure that the precious metal that you would otherwise lose due to the dissolving process is not lost. And additionally, the product which you are making does not contain precious metal, which has to be then removed. So it saves costs on two fronts for you. So our green solution over here helps. So there is going to be some leaching that's going to take place in any case, right? But our green solution over here, if you look at the chart here, leaches about 40 units of metal against the conventional catalyst, which leaches about 100 units of metal. And this has huge savings of about $3.5 million per metric ton of catalyst, and about 400 metric tons of carbon dioxide emissions saved per metric ton of catalyst as well. Why is all of this relevant for the audience over here? This is relevant for the audience here because we spoke about different issues in the morning today about how do we make our exports more competitive. We are introducing new active ingredients over the next few years as they go off patent. There are active ingredients which are registered in the EU, in Japan, which are not registered over here. If you want to do all that and be cost competitive at the same time, these are solutions that can help you, that can free up your working capital, and that can help your profitability to be higher. So in summary, using less metal, sweating your metal, and saving more metal in your process will help you to save money. In very simplistic terms, it will help you to reduce your carbon dioxide emissions, and it will help improve the safety of your process, as I've illustrated on previous slides. The sweetener on top of all of this is meeting our Prime Minister's commitment of own manufacturing, that all of this is produced at our plant in the beautiful city of Mangalore here in India. So this technology is available from India, from BASF. In case you have any queries, please feel free to reach us at Process Catalysts India, single word, at basf.com, or my telephone number, which is mentioned over here. We are also available till the end of the day, so if you have any queries, please do reach out to us. Thank you so much.